welcome to the Cultured Bumpkin. This is a vertical live, which I've never done before. But this is where I just read a little poetry before bed. So, let's get started with a few. Here's one by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, and it's called Growing Old. The days grow shorter, the nights grow longer, the headstones thicken along the way, and life grows sadder, but love grows stronger for those who walk with us day by day. The tear comes quicker, the laugh comes slower, the courage is lesser to do and dare, and the tide of joy in the heart falls lower and seldom covers the reefs of care. But all true things in the world seem truer, and the better things of earth seem best, and friends are dearer as friends are fewer, and love is all as our sun dips west. Then let us clasp hands as we walk together, and let us speak softly in low, sweet tone, for no man knows on the morrow whether we two pass on, or but one alone. Ella Wheeler Wilcox, Growing Old. Here is Thomas Moore, 'Tis the Last Rose of Summer. 'Tis the last rose of summer left blooming alone. All her lovely companions are faded and gone. No flower of her kindred, no rosebud is nigh to reflect back her blushes, to give sigh for sigh. I'll not leave thee, thou lone one, to pine on the stem, since the lovely are sleeping, go sleep thou with them. Thus kindly I scatter thy leaves o'er the bed, where thy mates of the garden lie scentless and dead. So soon may I follow where friendships decay, and from love's shining circle the gems drop away. When true hearts lie withered and fond ones are flown, oh, who would inhabit this bleak world alone? That was Thomas Moore, 'Tis the Last Rose of Summer. Here is William Butler Yeats, When You Are Old. When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes once had and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down beside the glowing bars murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Lord Byron, She Walks in Beauty. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. Lord Byron, She Walks in Beauty. William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. In every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Excuse me. John Donne. Death, be not proud. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell, and poppy or charms can make us sleep as well and better than thy stroke. Why swellest thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. John Donne, Death Be Not Proud. Here's one called I Am by John Clare. I am, yet what I am, none cares or knows. My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish in oblivious host, like shades in love and death's oblivion lost. And yet I am, and live with shadows tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the vast shipwreck of my life's esteems. And in the dearest that I love the best are strange, nay, rather stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, a place where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator, God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, untroubling and untroubled where I lie, the grass below, above the vaulted sky. Lord Tennyson, Ring Out, Wild Bells. Ring out, wild bells, to the wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out, wild bells, and let him die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Lord Tennyson. Here is Joyce Kilmer, Trees. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. That was Joyce Kilmer and Trees. Here is Daffodils, or I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. adjust my little microphone here. Okay. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. It was Daffodils by William Wordsworth. Here is John Keats, and this is the start to one of his poems. It's like Endymion, or I think it's that one. Anyway, but it starts off like this. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and or darkened ways made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Let's see, which one do we do next? Which one do we do next? Here's one old Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build 'em up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose, and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. If by Rudyard Kipling. Here's George Eliot, pen name of Mary Ann Evans, I think, at set of sun. If you sit down at set of sun and count the acts that you have done, and counting find one self-denying deed, one word that eased the heart of him who heard, one glance most kind that fell like sunshine where it went, then you may count that day well spent. But if through all the livelong day you've cheered no heart by yea or nay, If through it all you've nothing done that you can trace that brought the sunshine to one face, no act most small that helped some soul and nothing cost, then count that day as worse than lost. At Set of Sun, George Eliot. Emily Dickinson. I am nobody. Who are you? I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell, they'd advertise, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog. To tell one's name the livelong June to an admiring bog. Emily Dickinson. Ella Wheeler Wilcox. I love you. I love your lips when they're wet with wine and red with a wild desire. I love your eyes when the love light lies lit with a passionate fire. I love your arms when the strands enmesh your kisses against my face. Not for me the cold, calm kiss of a virgin's bloodless love. Not for me the saint's white bliss, nor the heart of a spotless dove. But give me the love that so freely gives and laughs at the whole world's blame. With your body so young and warm in my arms, it set my poor heart aflame. So kiss me sweet with your warm, wet mouth, still fragrant with ruby wine, and say with a fervor born of the South that your body and soul are mine. Clasp me close in your warm young arms while the pale stars shine above, and we'll live our whole young lives away in the joys of a living love. Ella Wheeler Wilcox, I love you. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, how do I love thee? How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight for the ends of being an ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, how do I love thee? Ben Jonson, to Celia. Drink to me only with thine eyes, and I will pledge with mine, or leave a kiss but in the cup, and I'll not look for wine. The thirst that from the soul doth rise doth ask a drink divine, but might I of Jove's nectar sup, I would not change for thine. I sent thee late a rosy wreath, not so much honoring thee as giving it a hope that there it could not withered be. But thou thereon didst only breathe, and sentest it back to me, since when it grows and smells, I swear, not of itself, but thee. Christopher Marlowe, the passionate shepherd, to his love. Come live with me, and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that hills and valleys, dales and fields, and all the craggy mountains yields. And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks, by shallow rivers to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals. And I will make thee beds of roses and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle, embroidered all with leaves of myrtle, a gown made of the finest wool which from our pretty lambs we pull, fur-lined slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold, a belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasps and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me, and be my love. The shepherd swains shall dance and sing for thy delight each May morning. If these delights thy mind may move, then live with me, and be my love. Lace and Ribbons Violin, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I always like to hear what other people's, favorite poems are. And so if you have one, feel free to drop it in. Otherwise, I will just read a couple more. Let's see. Here is Psalm 23 from the King James Bible. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The shepherd one, yeah, isn't that a great one? I had someone recently. I read that on a live, and she was like a literature teacher or something, a very battle axey type of lady, came and tried to tell me that was a lie. He didn't mean any of that, and was anyway. That's such a boring and obtuse way of looking at a beautiful love poem. It's a wonderful poem. And absolutely, yeah, Psalm 23. That's a good one. And let me see, Psalm 139 is a good one. That was a long time ago. I was in the Army, and I went to airborne school, and I'm really scared of heights, so you might be thinking, what are you doing at airborne school? But that's just what happened. And I didn't want to get kicked out of the plane, because they'll kick you out. I'd rather just go and jump out on my own, no matter how scared I am. And I thought of that verse from Psalm 139. If I ascend up into heaven, behold, thou art there. That was I was constantly thinking of that verse, the Lord's got me. And if I, what they call cigarette roll into the ground, which is your chute comes half open and you go, then I'll go to be with him. So either way, I'll be good. He'll either protect me or I'll die and go live with him. So that's kind of how I mentally got through that whole thing. No, this was at Fort Benning, and they recently changed the name, so I think it's Liberty now, Fort Liberty, but it was in Georgia. Fort Benning, Georgia is where that was. I have been to Fort Campbell, though. I did another course called Air Assault, where you do rappelling and stuff. But poetry was always comforting for me, because it would, it's a nice escape from stuff like that. And let's see. Let's read that one real quick. I like that one. Psalm 139. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, Psalm 139. O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down sitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain unto it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God! How great is the sum of them! If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. That's a good one. The one thing that I like about that, and he mentions it, I think it's Psalm 78, but he's sort of always thinking about getting away from his problems, and that is so common to classic literature. Like John Keats said, you know, um, like Ode to a Nightingale. It's basically the whole thing is him sitting under a tree, looking up at a bird, wishing he could fly and get away from his problems. You know, David said, "Oh, that I had wings like a dove, then would I fly and be at rest." And I think the Bible just has the answer for just the basic yearnings of humanity. You know, it's like um, they everybody thinks that. There's nobody that has never not wanted to like fly away and get away from it all, probably. And and that's why the Bible is so comforting, because God's word is it's got just it's got just what you need for wherever you are in life at the moment. Oh, let's see. Maybe do one more. Uh, how about yeah, man, I felt that way too, you know. And I kind of make a list of poems that, like classic poems, that say something that an author in the Bible said, because it's like the same thought process. So like John Keats is definitely one of them. Uh, to take into the air my quiet breath. Now more than ever seems it rich to die. Like he was thinking, man, I think death would be a escape from all this. And anyway, Jonah said, "It is better for me to die than to live." That sounds like John Keats under the tree, Um, Okay, Psalm 34. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto him, and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What man is he that desireth life, and loveth many days, that he may see good? Keep thy tongue from evil, and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil, and do good. Seek peace, and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. He keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. The Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. I like verses in the Psalms when it'll be something that seems just totally random. So he keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. It's like, what are you talking about? Well, it said that Jesus, when he was on the cross, it said the Romans, what they would do is crucify you, and when they're like, all right, it's about time to get some supper, I'm tired of this, they would just take a club and crack both of your femurs, and you'd suffocate if you're on a cross. They were not nice dudes. They were just, well, it said when they saw that Jesus was already dead, they brake not his bones, and so that that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, not a bone of him shall be broken. And there it is, right there, Psalm 34. So anyone that reads the Bible with an open mind and an honest heart will be like, whoa, that's talking about Jesus. All right. Well, yeah, I'm about to get going. I still have to post my podcast episode. But if I don't know, this is my first vertical live, so I don't know if it will save or if whatever. But anyway, if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you did subscribe, and leave a poem of what you want to hear next time, and we'll try to read it. But thank you very much for listening. It was great talking. Oh, Jennifer, hello. Yeah, just great hanging out with y'all, and we'll do this again soon, hopefully.